name is Jessica and welcome to Makeup.misfit and welcome to another update for Pan Those Eyeshadows. I'm really excited to show you guys this month's update. So if you're not aware, I work on 4 shades, 3 of those coming from a palette, and the 4th shade is always a single, which does get rolled out each and every month, whether I hit pan on the shade or not. It's just a way for me to rotate through my singles because I do have quite a few of them, more than I actually thought, but I just want to get some use on them because I don't really ever reach for them. I'm more of a palette girl, so even though I do enjoy singles, unless it's in a palette or a curated palette that I made myself or whatever, I don't actually reach for them very often. So I do want to get as much use on them as I can. So I feel rolling them out each and every month helps me do that, even if it is only 12 single shades out of however many I have. It's better than nothing. And I did this last year the exact same way. I really enjoyed it, so I wanted to continue it throughout this year as well. So let's get into my palettes first. I kind of like to usually start off with those. So first, I'm going to show you guys my stack by Kaja. This is in Rosewater. I had rolled in the bottom shade here. I'm not quite sure what the actual name is, but I have not used this shade at all. So you can see a brush mark in there, but I did actually have this in my project level up for level 1 when I refreshed it. So that was only a couple of months ago. And I had used it the one time there. This is the shade that I had actually hit pan in. And I've been reaching for this shade the last couple of days, but I don't reach for this bottom shade at all. I haven't used it since I had used it the one time in that project. I think it's a little bit too dark for me to throw all over the lids. I'd really have to blend it out because, as I mentioned in my project level up video, I really enjoy wearing like just a shimmer all over the lid, but it has to be like a light to mid-tone shimmer. This one's a little bit too dark for that, even though it might not seem like, well, yes and no. I feel like if I was to blend that out, it might be okay, but I think the tone of it is just dark. So we'll have to see. I guess I should swatch out my shades, which I haven't been doing. But we're going to swatch them out of my wrist here. So that is what that shade is looking like. So it's going to be in here for a while. I can guarantee you that because it's going to take me a while to hit pan on there. That middle shade that I had hit pan on, I was using that all over the lids for almost a month straight. And it took me that long just to hit pan in it. So I know it'll happen. I'm going to be determined. I don't know if it's going to happen by the next update because that's going to be a lot of purple. And I'm kind of steering away from purple at the moment because I feel like I've had a lot of it in my projects lately. But that's okay. It'll be in here for a little while. No big deal. But I would love to hit pan on that because if I have pan on all 3 shades in here at some point, I would be very happy. So next is my Lizzie McGuire ColourPop palette. This is the What Dreams Are Made Of palette. And I chose well, I didn't choose, but it was randomized Hello Fabulous, which is this purple shade here as well. So again, another purple. This one's super pretty. Like, I love this purple shade, but I don't reach for it. I think I've used it a couple of times. There's definitely some usage in there that you can kind of see along this side of the pan, but nothing near what I should have or could have been reaching for. So this is what those two look like together. I was thinking I could pair the two, but that might be a little bit of a strange look. I'm not quite sure how I feel about those two together. In person, it doesn't look as crazy, but I'm still not quite sure I like it enough to do it. I might test it one day and see, but I do think that this one's going to be in here for a while as well. Hitting pan on this shade I feel is going to take some time. This one took me 20 uses and then I completely finished it up in another project. But that was a very light pink that I really enjoyed wearing. Not that I don't enjoy wearing this shade, but it's a little cool for the summertime. So I think going into fall and winter, I might actually be able to pull that shade out. Or if I wear it on the bottom lash line. Actually, I think that would be really pretty on the bottom lash line. I used to do that a lot. When I kind of first got into like makeup and color and stuff, I would wear purple a lot. And I'd wear I can't remember the name of it, but it was a purple from Urban Decay, a liner, I believe. And then there was one from Gosh that I really liked. I would wear those on the bottom lash lines all the time. So I might kind of go back 10, 12, 13 years and wear the purple like I used to. Just tweak it a little bit, update it a little bit. But actually that's an idea. I might give that a try and see if I can at least get like a liner brush to hopefully help me hit pan in that. We'll have to see. So those two are staying in. My last palette was the ABH and Amrezy palette, and in this one I had rolled in New Yorker. I know I'm pronouncing that without the accent, but that is the shade right here, and as you can tell, there's usage on there, but there's definitely no dips, definitely no pan, nothing even close to it. I have been reaching for this one a lot more often, especially out of the three, but not enough to make any uses. So I like to throw this one into my crease, especially when I just want like a simple look. If I just, lately what I've been doing, you can see there's a lot more use in this Barb shade right here. And I think it was yesterday, I actually wore these three shades, and it was, or no, sorry, this shade, this pink, and then Barb. And it was so pretty. So I think I'm going to kind of gravitate towards those three shades a lot in this palette. I tend to pair this and Barb so much together, or wear Barb in the inner corner, something else on the lid with this shade in the crease. I think I'm probably going to hit pan in Barb before I hit pan in the actual shade that I'm focusing on, but that's okay, because if I can get more pans in this palette, that would be wonderful. So yeah, this one's definitely sticking around as well, but I would love to just kind of get like a couple more looks with these three shades and just kind of expand a little bit. I haven't really touched anything else but those three shades in this palette. Of course, I'm not going to touch the black because I don't reach for blacks. I don't wear them. And we'll just have to see how long that one's going to take. But I think I might be able to hit pan in this one sooner than one of these two, just depending based off of, oh, my ankle. Just based off how much I wear it, not necessarily the fact that it's a matte compared to shimmers. We'll just have to see how that goes. So these three are still staying in. So that means, oh, I never swatched that shade. Let's swatch it. I'm definitely not as prepared for this project as I was last year, but those are the three shades that are from the palettes that are still staying in this project. And then my single shade came from Luxie, and that was this palette right here. So I have all of my Luxie shades in here, and I had Snow Cone, which was a super pretty blue shade. Now that is this shade right here. So you can see I hit pan, which is super exciting. It's a very soft shade, and I feel like they're all very soft. I don't have pan in this one yet, but I kind of stopped myself before I actually hit pan in it because I adore this shade so much. I don't know if this one was in a project or not previously, or if I was just reaching for it on its own, but I was using it quite a lot, and I was surprised as to how quickly a dip had formed. And same with this one. The dip came out of nowhere, and then next thing I knew, I was hitting pan, and I haven't reached for the shade in a very long time. So I'm sure I did an update last month. I could be wrong, but I feel like it only took me a couple of weeks to hit pan in it. So my Luxie shades, I know that I can hit pan in these no problem. Finishing them up, I've done, well, mind you, it was a broken shade, but I finished one up. But I feel like these singles could get a lot of use on them over time. So what I was doing, actually, if you saw my Project Level Up video that had gone up a couple days ago, I was using this in my inner corner, and once I had hit pan on this, I was using the blue shade in that palette that was pretty close to hitting pan on, Naz, I think it's called. I had replaced the shade with that shade. So I could have continued to use this, but I wanted to get some use on that Glamlight and Michaela palette, and that's just what I was reaching for instead. So regardless, I'm glad that I had hit pan in here, but my single will be switched out this month anyways. So what we're going to do is randomize my palettes, or not my palettes, but I'm going to randomize my singles. So these are what they're in right now. So let me take a second and count how many I can roll in, because I do have that Snow Globe shade that will be excluded, and I do have another shade in another project that will be excluded. So once I figure out the number, I will come back, we will randomize, we'll find out what palette it's from, which shade it is, and go from there. Okay, so I have 58 singles that can be rolled into this project. There are a couple that already have pan. Actually, I'm going to recount, because the ones that have pan, I don't really want to include in here. They're not necessarily from this project that I had hit pan, but I want to just give the rest of my singles an option. So I'll be back a second time. Okay, so there's 55 shades. So this is in no particular order. I'm just going to randomize 1 through 55, and then I'm just going to count and see which palette it comes from, and we'll see what shade it is. So let me grab my phone here, which is probably turned off because I was charging it because it was dead. So we'll wait for it to turn on. Okay, so I have pretty random up, so I'm going to change this so it's 1 to 55. Done. $48. Okay, so I know that's going to come from the last palette, which is this one right here. So this one's a little all over the place. This is the one that has the ones with pans in them. So we're going to just count this way. This one does not count. This one does not count. And there's one here that has pan that does not count. So we're going to count and see. So I guess I got to count out 48 though. Actually, no I don't, because there's 55. And I know that came from this palette. Okay, so 55, 54, 53, 52, 51, 50, 49, 48. Oh, this is an AB8 shade. Oh no, it's Annabelle. This is Aura from Annabelle. So it's a very light... I'm just getting all of the shades that are very similar to one another. You can barely see that on my arm, but it is right here. So those are the 4 shades that I will be working on. So thankfully, I don't think I'm going to hit that pan at all. I don't even know how much I'm actually going to reach for that shade, but we will see. Next month it will be rolled out regardless of hitting pan or not. It is what it is, and I actually enjoy doing that, so hey. As long as it gets a little bit of use on it, it is an older shade, so I should probably focus on it a little bit. We'll just have to see how much I actually reach for it. I could probably use it in my brow bone, to be honest, or to blend out whatever is on my lid, like just the outer edge of it, which I never tend to do, but this would be a good shade to do that. It does have a little bit of shimmer, so it could just kind of, it's very subtle, so you're not going to be able to see it, so if it is on my brow bone, at least it can highlight it a little bit. But I'm sure I'll be able to do that, no problem. Don't know about any progress showing, but that's okay. It is what it is. So those are the 4 shades that I'll be working on. So this is the purple shade from the Kaja stack. This is Hello Fabulous from the ColourPop and Lizzie McGuire palette. This is a New Yorker from ABH and I'm Reezy. And this is Aura from Annabelle. So wish me luck. I feel like I said, at least these 3 shades are going to be in here for a while, and then Annabelle will be switched out next month. But I'm really hoping that I can get some good progress on these shades over the next few weeks or so. And we'll just have to see how things end up. So thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you, and I will see you all later. Bye.